Hello! Welcome to the Cleveland Marathon Podcast. I am your host, Adam, and I am here today with my co-host, Jen. Jen, how are you?
I'm doing so good today. It's so nice out, and I feel like every time we talk, I'm like updating on the weather, but we're grilling cheeseburgers today. It's nice outside, the weather's perfect, and I am good. How are you, Adam?
You got me on the cheeseburger part. I'm already I'm salivating just thinking about barbecues for the summer. But the sun's out. You know, we're just happy. It's just such a good time that, during the spring. I don't want to say it, but spring maybe has sprung. Let's hope. But I just love the spring, and ultimately it's just a beautiful time in Northeast Ohio this time of year, and it's only going to get better from here. So I'm also very happy, Jen, because all of our technical hiccups from episode 1, like the robot voices at certain parts, that was solved because I got a new internet modem.
Yeah, I think sometimes when you start something new, when you start something new, you're not really sure how it's going to work out. And so it's nice to figure those things out and just be able to move forward. So I'm excited about that too.
Well, you know what? Speaking of starting something new, that is actually the subject of today's podcast episode, because we will be talking about new runners / racers in the Cleveland / Northeast Ohio area. Jen, you and I both. We were once new runners ourselves. And when I say new runners, I'm talking at like the recreational level, because the Cleveland Marathon is a race for everybody. There's something for everybody, but the biggest thing is it's feeling encouraged, because let's be honest, anytime something new, we can get very, very nervous. So this episode is for those who are getting ready to either do their first race, maybe even getting ready to just get into the running community, maybe about to sign up, but just needs that extra push, that extra encouragement. So today's episode for those recreational runners that are new to the sport of running, that really want that extra goal to sign up for one of the events at the Cleveland Marathon, this is for you.
You know, Adam, I think the best thing about being a new runner is feeling included in the running community, because part of that is worrying about, where do I fit in? Or can I keep up with them? Will they wait for me? What happens if no one talks to me and I'm there by myself? It's all of that, and like being included as the group and feeling part of it. And so I think when you feel like you've found your people, you're more apt to want to continue, but then also be in other places with them, like signing up for a race and having that environment and being able to do that with your friends that you've made in that space.
And on today's show, we have a special guest. We have Sarah Kirk from Below Average Running, which is a new run club in the city of Cleveland. It is actually a part of a national run club, and Sarah is the leader of the Cleveland chapter. Sarah, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, guys. I'm so excited. Episode 2, this is great.
Yes, episode 2. I think that's probably the best place to start. What is Below Average Runner, and how did you get involved?
Yeah, so Below Average Running was actually started by one of my good friends, Nicole Lynn, in Miami, Florida. We have several run club chapters throughout the United States. There's many. So I'm an ambassador, and I started when I was visiting Nicole once, and I went to her run club in Miami. It was an easy 5K. I had not run in years. I used to run track in high school, and since then, never any kind of long distance running whatsoever. So 5K, Nicole's like, it's going to be great. It's below average running. So I'm like, okay, this is going to be perfect. And I was the last person in the back of the pack. I was the back of the pack. And I'm like, I would say I'm pretty like in shape. So it was so crazy to, well, I mean, when you feel that way, it sucked. But as I was finishing this walk run, Nicole came and finished with me, and several of the ladies came and finished with me. So this was like what? Probably like a 13, 14-minute pace, and made me feel so included, congratulated me for finishing the run. And since then, she asked me, "Hey, I think you should, start a chapter in Cleveland. I think this would be perfect. I think this is what Cleveland needs." And it's so true. It is exactly what Cleveland needed. And I'm so glad that I took the charge and started it.
I when I came across your Instagram account earlier this year, I loved the fact it was a run club that was for slower paced runners. And when I say slower pace, we're talking more around like, you say like 10, 11, 12 plus minute miles.
I mean, yeah, sometimes we will even do a 13, 14-minute pace. We try to have pace groups for everyone and make everyone or help everyone feel included.
And I absolutely love that because running is a sport for everybody.
And I think you probably experienced this too, Sarah, when you were joining your friend in Miami and that feeling that you felt yourself being knowing you were last, but then them coming back to include you. And I think that just says so much about their run group and the fact that they wanted to make sure that you were included. Because I so often the back of the pack, like you had mentioned, doesn't feel included. We see a lot about that, and their feelings toward it because they're running too. They're running the same distance and they're running the same race and they're getting the same medal, to not feel that inclusion. So I think it's so important that we have a community that's built that you've built with your run club to do that.
Yeah, definitely. We like to say in bar, we call it bar, but we like to say raise the pace and no run behind. So I do tell my pace leaders every run club, you have to remember if someone is falling behind, you send your runners ahead of you, and you as the pace leader, you're going back to the pack and hanging out with the people that are struggling because they're there and they're trying, and that's what matters.
So I've been in run clubs for probably 8 years by this point, and I hear the same excuse from a lot of my friends who are interested in joining one. They always say, I can't, I'm too slow. I can't. And I'm like, it's a very welcoming community. So when it comes to below average running, that was the one thing that I mean, when I say one thing, many one things, but I absolutely love the fact that you eliminated that excuse immediately and you keep on encouraging everybody just to do their best, because the most important part is just the running aspect of it, and obviously growing from there, but really giving them a launching point and giving them the confidence. It's been outstanding what you've been able to achieve.
Thank you so much. Yeah. I mean, we have runners who were absolutely terrified to even come, and making that jump. I mean, coming to a run club by yourself, without a friend, you don't know anyone, that alone is terrifying in itself. But being a slow runner or a beginning runner who's, you're going to start out slow, doing that is such like a leap of faith, and I have seen so many of them end up coming to every single run, and seeing their progress has just been like, it's like the best thing ever to witness. I love it.
It makes you, I think for me, like it makes you really appreciate just what you're able to do. When you see them progress, you see them continue to come, you know what you're building and the importance of it. And I always say, because I do pace with a pace company, like it's never about me, it's really about them. And that's the fun part about probably leading a run club or pacing, is seeing like the gratification of just seeing other people be really proud of themselves, genuinely proud of themselves. And some of them, it really is just showing up to the run club because they're nervous about it. And once they're there, the odds of them coming back are pretty high as long as they feel that inclusion and feel people supporting them. So that's awesome.
So Sarah, how do you personally, how do you keep everybody so motivated on your side? Like, because I know being a run leader, it's hard to connect with everybody. So how do you do it overall with the group to make sure that they have the opportunity to keep on growing as runners?
Yeah, I think that's important, and it goes back to Jen. I try to one get new people to come. That is my biggest selling. Every time I post a new run, which we have signups for it. Um, I will go through and I try to remember the new people that are registering. So one, if it's your first run, I'm gonna seek you out when you come, find you, introduce myself, ask you questions about yourself, ask you about your running journey, ask you what pace you're going to be running today, and then tell you I'm excited to see you and talk to you after because Adam, we get coffee after all of our runs. Um, so I really try, and then before we go out on the run, I tell my runners that come consistently, hey, if you see a new face here, I need you to go introduce yourself to them. So I think, I mean, we have so many welcoming people who genuinely will do that if I ask them. And it's like the best thing ever. So yeah, I try to be really intentional about, being a friend to these people. So even after the run, a lot of them will follow me on Instagram after. So I like to message newbies or the newcomers and say, thank you so much for coming. I really hope I can see you at the next run. It was great to see you today. So just being intentional about those things.
So that leads us to the next point. The Cleveland Marathon is the people's race. It is Northeast Ohio, city of Cleveland, and anybody who wants to be a part of it. Everybody is welcome. So just a reminder, you have the 5K and the 10K on the Saturday, and then you have the half and you have the full on Marathon Sunday, obviously. So when you have the runners in your run club, how do you help them transition from run club to race?
So, as someone who only sees a majority of these people at Run Club, for one, I like to be very transparent about schedules and what I'm training for. So, one thing I did with my last training schedule for my last half marathon was I made a Google sheet and I posted on my Instagram and made it available to any runner in our run club saying, hey, like, these are all the days I'm going to be training and these are all the miles I'm going to be running at this pace. If you want to come join me, come hang out. Let's run together. So I like to make that available to them, but then also just asking them about what they're training for and then offering my input. I think for a lot of runners in our group personally, they're not striving for to even meet a pace. I think normally it's to finish the run, to get out there and finish the run. So I think, giving them my knowledge about longevity instead of speed, those zone 2 runs or even doing 1 day of speed work and, giving little pointers here and there, but not inserting myself too much. I really only like to if they're going to ask for advice because I don't want to make them feel like there's a certain way to do it.
I think that takes you right back to that building a community. Yeah, and just building the community from that point of doing run clubs on whichever day of the week that you're doing them, to then including them even in your own personal training and just saying, come out with me. And also just being really upfront about it, saying, this is my pace, this is what I'll be doing, and this is how far I'm going. Um, to make them just feel comfortable and know, well, I can hang with her, or maybe I can't, but I can do it at Run Club instead. But just that part of just being included in that. And then on race day, do you have groups that run together on race day or have goals to run together for race day?
We do for the Cleveland Marathon, yes. So I will be doing the 10K. I won't be doing the half or the full, but we are going to have a cheer station. So I'm very excited to see people that I see at Run Club running together. I cannot wait to see that happen.
Yeah. Are you guys color coordinating anything? You've got outfits picked out? Yeah. That's so fun though.
Yeah, it's so fun. I can't wait.
Where's your cheer station going to be?
We are planning to have it around like mile 5, 6. So hopefully I can. So we're hoping maybe a coffee shop to hang out at and then have our runners come meet us after too.
So, Sarah, if I'm a new runner and if it was my New Year's resolution to do the Cleveland, any of the distances, what would you tell me to get me to sign up? Like, how would you just say, hey, you should? What would your words of encouragement be?
So I would personally say make sure you are going to prioritize this and strength training. Strength training is key, especially with your legs. And then make sure you're going to get all your runs in. And then, like, if you're going to skip a run, don't try to, like, not skip as many as possible. And then I would also say, if you can do it with a friend, do it with a friend. Because that, to me, that is what made it for me. I ran my first race with friends, and it just made it the best experience ever. And you know what? If you don't have a friend, someone in bar is going to be running this race and they will run it with you. They will run alongside you. So run it with someone or run your long runs with someone. I think running your long runs with a partner or even someone to bike alongside you and talk to and keep you going, because you go to deep dark places in those the end miles. Um, to have someone do that with you will just make the experience so much better. That's what I would say.
I love that you included but having someone bike with you too, because there's not always a ton of people in your life who are going to run like you do. Um, or running, all the same distances, same paces, same training, all of that. But more often than not, someone might have someone in their life that will be able to bike 8 miles or so on, and be able to do that with you. So I love that you included that too, and I do that in my own family. So I think that's great.
And when you talk about running and having somebody bike next to you, I think of the cutscenes from Punch Out, the old Nintendo game, when you're the little boxer and he has his trainer just riding along. I don't know if anybody gets that reference, but those who do, they're laughing and nodding their head right now. That's immediately what I thought of.
Adam always goes back to Nintendo. He can relate anything in life to the Nintendo.
So, Sarah, what are you most excited about for the 2025 Cleveland Marathon weekend?
I am most excited about seeing the people that I run with at Run Club achieve their goals. I know how hard it is to go through a training cycle. You know, you go to some low points. If training some training cycles could be, perfectly fine for some people, but I think as a first time runner, my first training cycle showed me parts of myself that I've never seen before. So getting to understand that part and knowing that the people running this marathon and this half marathon, the first time runners, they went through the same thing. They're learning the same things about themselves, and then getting to see the smile on their faces as they cross the finish line, it's going to be the best thing ever. That is what I'm most excited about, and cheering them on.
With that being said, Sarah, if I am interested in joining Bar, where can I find your information? Where can I find you? How can we go about getting involved with your run club?
Thank you, Adam. Um, as you guys know, Bar is for everyone. We actually also have a walking group, which I would love to tell you guys. Um, so even if you're just wanting to get out and move your body and go for, what they say, a hot girl walk or a hot guy, either or, um, have a walkers group that is a pretty decent size, by the way. They walk all of our routes as we're running, so they walk behind us. You can find me on Instagram at Sarah Runs Clee, no spaces. You can also follow Bar Run Club on Instagram as well. They post all of our meets. But if you want, like, super up-to-date info on when we're going to be meeting, where it's going to be, follow me. We pick a new route and a new coffee shop every time we meet.
I love the
So
new coffee shop too, and new route. It keeps things exciting and different, and kind of spread the wealth over Cleveland. No, I think that's awesome. And I love that you have a walking club because we see a lot of people that come to the Cleveland Marathon race events that weekend. And I know for me personally, like my mom and my daughter walk the 5K. And so even have someone that's not something my mom typically does. So to have a group that maybe someone could go to walk and prepare for walking the 5K if they wanted to. So I think that's awesome that you include that.
thank you. And, if I could plug this too, on Cleveland Marathon weekend, our walking group is going to be walking the 5K. So anyone who wants to join us, that would be great. We're also having a pasta party on Friday night to get those carbs in for anyone who wants to carb load. We're going to have a pasta party at Edgewater Park. So I will be posting more details on that too. But yes, I love that our walkers are walking the 5K. I'm excited for them.
Well, Sarah, I am so glad that you were able to come on today and discuss getting new runners and racers involved in the community, involved in the Cleveland Marathon events. What you do is absolutely awesome, and I cannot wait to have you at race weekend. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show today.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you for, giving us the platform to spread our message. It really means a lot.
I think you're doing something so awesome, and even just opening the door, just opening that door is sometimes all you need. So super proud of you at Bar and excited to see you guys on race weekend.
Hopefully we'll see you before then, but if not, we'll see you for sure at race weekend. And once again, Sarah, thank you so much. I'm your host, Adam, here with my co-host, Jen. Thank you guys for listening. And until next time, I love you, Cleveland.